Well, hello, Julia. Thank you for inviting me to chat with you about business today.
Yeah, you are so welcome. And thank you so much for being available.
Absolutely.
So, Mia, it's such a joy to connect with you here. And I'm just so grateful for our connection and just
Mhm.
how long,
Yeah,
it's been since we've known each other.
that's
And
right.
yeah,
I think we connected, I want to say it was 2006, 2005,
2005 or six. Yeah.
somewhere in there. And
Mhm.
I met you because you and Jennifer had come to the Stanley Park Ecology Society and done some coaching with us. And I think that was closer to the beginning of your practice. But
Yeah.
you met with all of our staff and you took us through some coaching exercises and we stayed in touch. And I love that. I found them very valuable at the time. And then of course you sent me a copy of your mini retreats, which I listened to on my headphones for a long time. And it's been, I think I've been a newsletter subscriber ever since then. So,
And then I've seen you going through so many changes in your
mhm,
business and growing a beautiful family.
absolutely.
And it's just been so wonderful to stay in touch. And I still remember that those early beginnings with the
Hmm.
Park Ecology Society. What really stands out for me was just your enthusiasm and your positivity and really just always seeing opportunities and seeing possibilities of like, how can we make this work and how can we make this better?
I
And
didn't know you saw that. Thank you for telling me.
I did, and it's just and then the way you've gone about starting your family and creating your businesses, many has just been for me just always a confirmation of just like how you just have a really strong way of going about what you truly care about and
Mhm.
your values and then, yeah, most recently, I really felt inspired to collaborate with you because I've also seen just how you've grown your
Mhm.
network marketing business and really into a training business
Mhm.
and and your approach around network marketing and really helping people understand what it is and how it can work for them or
Mhm.
if it even is a fit. And that to me always stood out as very distinctly from some other network marketers that I've seen,
Mhm.
where the approach is more about, hey, this product is amazing, you should join, and there's all these opportunities with being part of a network marketing,
Mhm.
and it always felt sort of salesy.
Yes.
And that's where your approach has been so refreshing, very much about just information and education about what it is and what it can do for you,
Of
and
course.
also what's needed from you to make it work.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it often isn't so much what these other people focus on.
Mhm.
And so as I'm building this very new and exciting program called Career Clarity Circle, which is really a 3-month program on helping people find their calling and then also follow through and make it happen. That's when I thought, well, I think you would be really ideal for helping people determine in the end when they are clear on the path that they want to pursue whether the network marketing is something that would really fit with who they are and fit with their dream. And if it is the case, then I think that again your approach to educating around this topic would really help them to then also take that step and make that their dream come true, essentially.
Well, I appreciate your perspective on all of that because I've watched you grow as well, and I've always admired the way that you reached out and grew your business, and I love the content that you've created for years now, and admire very much the way you're helping people to find that calling because it is so hard. It is so hard either when you feel limited by your past experience or your education or the opportunities that you have felt are available to you, limited by your past in some way, or on the other hand, if you feel so unlimited that it's difficult to choose. I love that there is someone like you who can guide people through to making those decisions.
Mhm.
And I have a fair amount of experience with traditional business as well as more leveraged types of businesses like network marketing. And our business that grew out of our network marketing business is not a network marketing business, but it behaves like one. So, we can talk about that as well, taking different pieces of business models to make them suit you.
Yes.
Hmm.
And that's again where I just love your approach about that.
Hmm. Yes,
It's really making it work for you.
yes,
And again, so not so much a cookie cutter approach of like,
yeah,
here's how you do it, and that's it. But there can sometimes be also combinations, uh,
yes,
a business and
yes.
network marketing component of that.
Mhm.
And there's so much freedom and flexibility. And I
Mhm.
guess, again, I just find the way you approach all of that with that positivity, but also with
Mhm.
a real focus of how can I make this work for me, and
Of course.
how can um,
Otherwise, it's not worth it.
absolutely, exactly. Yes, life is too short.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I just thought, well, you would be an excellent partner to collaborate with, and really help people in that last stage of then following through and making their career
Mhm.
dreams come true. And so I guess what was always on my mind, since we met in those very early days, what actually did inspire you to choose that route and to begin network marketing?
I've had two major business awakenings, if you can call it. So the first one was into network marketing, and the second one was to creating our own brand some years later. So if you don't mind, I'll talk about both of those.
Yeah.
But if we can trace it back to when I was an employee, because when I met you, I
Mhm.
was firmly in nonprofit. I wasn't only not a business owner, I was in non-profit. So profit was profit was anathema at that time,
Yeah.
because I had come from an entrepreneurial family. So we've talked about my dad before, you and I. My dad is a business owner. He owns a traditional business and it's a music school. So for
Mhm.
years as a child, every Friday of my entire childhood, my mom would take the day off of being a mom. Now that I have three kids, I think of like, how can I do this with my own family? Take every Friday off. But she would go, and now today we would call it self-care. My
Mhm.
mom just said it's Friday. That was her code word for self-care. She would go, and who knows what she did. She'd go shopping or see her friends or go to church or do the things that were the things that were healing for her. And my dad was, typical of that generation, said, I don't know what to do with these kids. I'll bring them to work. And so he brought us to work. Every Friday of my entire childhood, I spent running around a music school, wreaking havoc, playing hide and seek in the inventory room, learning from everybody there. And of course, when I was 8 or 9, my dad put me to work printing envelopes. And then when I was 13 and 14, he had me knocking on doors, prospecting. And then when I was 15 or 16, I was bookkeeping. And then even today, I still assist him a little bit. I go in there and I help on the management, administrative, marketing side of things. So I had this advantage of seeing every way a small business could work.
Mhm.
However, with traditional business, what I saw was also the headache side.
Mhm.
It was the complication of the rent and the inventory and the employees, and how incredibly stressful owning a traditional business can be, right?
Mhm.
Just going through an audit in that place was enough to drive my dad's stress level through the roof. But I really saw, he didn't need to commute a long way. He could create his own hours. He could take vacations with the family. He could be present when he needed to. And I really internalized that. So around the time that my husband and I started having kids, I had just stopped working in order to become a mom. But in the work I had done when you first met me, it was all about leadership. So I led a staff. I did a lot of volunteer work with community leadership, and I was a curriculum developer. So I would take these organizational messages that were very boring. They talk about science, they talk about outcomes. No one wanted to hear that, but they would trust me to spin it into gold and create these emotionally compelling stories and all this kind of thing. And so I thought, I really have this gift. I have this talent set, but I was being paid pennies. I was making this huge impact but I was not being compensated adequately. And at the time, I didn't care. I thought, my heart is here. I'm happy doing my work. I'm fine. I was fancy free until we had children. And I suddenly realized I couldn't pay for them. Like I couldn't, I could not afford to go back to work and put my little boy into daycare. I just wasn't being compensated enough to trade that time with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought we need to do something different. So around the time our second child was born, Andy was experiencing the same thing. He was working in the university system. And we thought, is it enough? Is it enough to have that impact if you're not being compensated? And you look at these beautiful little people in your life and you think, no, I need to show them that I can create a life for myself that demonstrates that integrity and that demonstrates that passion, but that can also, that can serve and that can also provide an income for them that allows them to have the best opportunities possible. And that wasn't going to happen on our little educator salaries. So that's when we turned to business. Mm-hmm. And the reason we turned to network marketing is because that's the type of business that fell in our lap. And a lot of people, if you don't know what network marketing is, for those of you who may be watching, network marketing is a business in which there's a product or a service that generally someone introduces you to. So you've seen it before. It's a, Avon representative, or it might be Arbonne, or it might be Pampered Chef, or it might be, sometimes it's electricity services through ACN, financial services through Primerica. But the idea is that this company has a product or service, and instead of marketing it the traditional way and spending millions of dollars on advertising, they don't pay those advertising costs. They just pay human beings like you and me to distribute them. And so when you love a product and you share it with people, if they end up buying it, you're compensated for that. And so the idea is to create a pre-packaged business and give it to someone at a very low cost. So if you've been introduced to network marketing, it's usually, someone has invited you to their home or to a coffee shop, and they draw little circles on a paper for you, and they show you how this business could work. But it's a very low barrier to entry. So for us, we didn't have savings. I couldn't invest in a franchise. I couldn't go to McDonald's and buy up something like that. And starting a business from scratch often costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. But a network marketing business, you can get started for $500. And so just financially, that's where we were. So someone offered us some health food product, and I had some great results with it. And I thought, oh, this is the thing we've been looking for. So we ran with it. And what I really saw right away with network marketing, not a lot of people see it, is that there is tremendous leverage if you do it properly. So the way I saw my dad with his business, if he wanted more students in the music school, he needed more stuff, right? So if he wanted more students, he needed to have more instruments to teach them. If he ran out of available time slots, he'd need to hire extra teachers. So the more students he had, he would just hit the ceiling. He'd be capped. And there's a certain level at which your growth was capped. But with network marketing, if you develop a team, it begins to grow outside of you. You're limited only by your own leadership. And I liked that leverage piece very much. So that's what attracted me to network marketing at first. That's a long answer, but I hope it gives you a full picture.
Yes, it does. And I guess what I'm hearing really, and this is where it again is so relevant for people who are seeking, to find that calling, but then also make money, with it.
Yes.
Because that is, I think, often what sort of holds people back from really going for their dreams, is that they believe that, well, I can't make money doing that. Mm-hmm. And so what I'm hearing with you is really like your passion around education and your passion around leadership. And but then looking for opportunities. How can I also make a living, like a true living with that feeds your family, with using these strengths and using your talents and doing something that really energizes and inspires you, but also being paid adequately for it. And that's where, again, that's why I was, I'd love to, and I'm excited to have you on board and in this career clarity circle piece, because again, at the end of their journey, like, I mean, it's not really the end, it's kind of the beginning, really. But when people have found, like, oh, this is what I'm really inspired to do, and this is what I really want to do, this is the impact I want to have on the world, and then how do I put that into practice, and how do I actually follow through and make it happen? That's where a lot of people find that they feel or perceive a lot of blocks, and that's where someone like you can really help to just meet those challenges and actually make them work for you. So so that's why I'm excited to
Can I respond to that? Because as you were speaking, I recognized those blocks. I had them as well. And a few things came up for me just now when you were speaking. One of them is this idea that in order for you to be successful in business, in network marketing or any other kind of business, part of it is your mindset around money, right? You really need to adjust your mindset from an employee mindset into a business mindset. And that was difficult to do. It was very hard for me psychologically to get over a poverty mindset, or this nonprofit serving with heart mindset, and accepting that you can do the same thing through business. And so in business, I think it's really important to set two sets of goals. One is internal and one is external. So with your internal goals, it is how is this business going to serve me and serve my family? How will it help me achieve my personal goals? So maybe that's self-actualization, or maybe it is I want to be able to go on an extra vacation, or I want an extra $500 grocery money per month, or whatever your personal goals are. That is important to be in alignment with, because that will motivate you every day. But that's not enough. If you only have that, that's when you get this image of the selfish business person. The second piece is an external goal. How will I serve others? How will I have an impact with my business? How will growing my business not only serve me, because your selfish switch turns on and off, you'll sabotage yourself, but how will it bring the maximum number of people to that place where the problem is solved? How many people are lying awake in the night with a problem that I can solve with my problem or service? And do I have the commitment to reach them through this vehicle I've been given? And I think that having both of those in mind is really important. You can't choose just one or the other.
Yes, that's very true. And I think, again, so I'm so excited.
That's okay.
Because that's exactly what it is all about. It's really about finding something that really truly inspires you, where you feel excited about making a difference, but also finding a way to make it work for you, so that you can flourish, and you can thrive doing that, and you can sustain yourself doing that. Because again, I think most people grow up or walk through life with some challenges around money, in a sense that then either it's all about it, or we should near it, or it's like there is something, and I think really working again through those blocks, and accepting that we deserve to also be compensated well for what we do, for our contribution, and that is a way of receiving that energy back, is a really important part of that journey. And the other piece is also that if it's only about the money, it will ultimately not feed our soul, not feed our heart, because we're maybe just in it for the money. And then again, it's often that kind of work that drains us, and that so many people are trying to get out of, which is why they come to see me, and they have their corporate job that's draining them, or they have they're in a career that's just never really felt right for them. And however, often the piece that keeps them stuck in there is that they feel like this is the only way I can make a good living, or and I've invested so much, especially if it's a career like accounting or engineering or something where, yeah, you've invested a lot in education, and so there's sort of that perception that, I'm wearing these golden handcuffs that keep
Yes, the golden handcuffs, absolutely.
exactly, that keep me tied in a job that's really not fulfilling.
Mm-hmm.
And so then exploring, that
Mm-hmm.
even is a real courageous step to exploring what is it that I truly want to do, but then very importantly also tying it back to, and then how can I make a living doing that? How can I make money doing that so that I can make this switch?
Yes. For me, that was the exciting part. Thinking of all the ways I could make money doing it got me really, and I'm an ideas person.
Yes.
For me, the hardest part was agreeing to let go of these ideas that I'd held very close to me, right? That, especially having come from a career of service in education and in nonprofit, the shift for me came when I really began to look at business as a way to honor my gifts where I wasn't limited. That in the world of business, I could create absolutely anything I want with no limits and nobody telling me what to do. When I look back at the nonprofit world in comparison to that, I realized I can serve that world, and I can serve that world better as a philanthropist than I could ever serve it as a worker bee. If I was the worker bee on the ground with a nonprofit, I can make this much difference. But if I can create something I'm passionate about, which additionally helps people, but then create the kind of income where I can give back to the causes I'm passionate about, then everybody wins. And that shift was the permanent shift for me. I had to level up my thinking, but to break through that, because I held it so tightly for so long, I had to really work through a lot of coaching. So a lot of mindset shifting, right?
Yeah. And you did it. Yeah.
Yeah. What we did with it was funny too, because the thing I like about network marketing is that for most people, a traditional business is out of their reach, right? I don't have the education, I don't have the money, I don't have the circumstances to go and throw away my full-time business and create another, or my corporate job and create a full-time business. It's too much risk. With network marketing, for the most part, it's something you can begin as a side hustle. But what I like about it is that if you have those feelings of imposter syndrome, or if you're introverted, if you're shy, if you're not feeling, if you don't look at yourself as a business person, but you can copy a system. Most network marketing businesses have a very easy to follow, wash, rinse, repeat system that you can use to just get the ball rolling and get used to that. And that was enough for us to build a very big team and a very good replacement income. But what we chose to do with it was something more, right? We actually decided to create our own brand over and above the network marketing business. So our entry into business began with network marketing, but I discovered that what I really wanted was to express myself in a way that I wasn't seeing in those cookie cutter businesses. And I needed the network marketing business to cut my teeth, and I needed it to make my mistakes. But when it came time for Andy and I to build our own brand, we sat down with a giant piece of chart paper. And I don't know if this is what you do with Career Clarity or not, but we mapped out every skill we had that we loved. We sat down and said, when you were in corporate, what did you love doing most? And Andy said, oh, I love doing this and I love doing that. I loved public speaking. I loved telling stories. I loved advising. I loved reaching out to business partners. And I thought, oh, I loved creating curriculum. I also love public speaking. We wrote down all of the skills that if I could just exercise them every day without a boss, I'd be thrilled. And we formed that into our new business model. And so now the business model that we have, it has exploded internationally in 2 years. And I will give 100% credit to the fact that we love it. Like I'm able to bring my best energy to it every day because I've created work that I love. And I've taken the model that I learned from network marketing as a free business education. I didn't need an MBA because I learned it from network marketing. And now we've created something that's it's taking care of our family.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
congratulations, Mia.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
and also, because again, I think this is very important for the listeners that are interested for clarity, because again, this is always something that personally has sort of you know, swayed me not to pursue network marketing, is that whole cookie cutter and boring and that kind of approach that I feel well, the whole strategy is like this is how you do it, cookie cutter, you just repeat, rinse, repeat.
Yeah.
I just never was attracted to that.
Yeah.
and also, I mean, I already was in business for myself, and creating, like doing clarity coaching is really my passion. So it was always felt like when people were again at networking events trying to persuade me, come on my team, sell this product and so on, I was always like, no, thank you. And but what you just, like the twist you just put on this is really interesting for me to hear. And I think also, again, for a lot of people on this journey, it's very interesting to hear that you can actually, quote unquote, use a network marketing business as your training laboratory, and obviously making some money along the way, but actually learning about business, learning about leadership, and learning about team building and working with other people. Like, so it can, again, I think it's about how is it serving you, and what is it that you want from it. And it sounds to me like, again, that you went in with very clear objectives of what you wanted to achieve and how you wanted to go about it. Yes. And so that, I think, again, makes all the difference.
Of course.
And sorry.
The cookie cutter systems are what allow you to leverage your business because it's shareable. It's very easy to share when there's a formula. Exactly. The way McDonald's franchise has a formula. When you're able to do that, it grants you leverage, but it is hard to work within if you're a creative.
Exactly.
Well, why would I do it this way? Why would I read this information off a piece of paper? And that was a problem for me because I'm a public speaker. And so I would get on stage and I would talk about my business and my product, and people would say, oh, Mia, I could never join your team because I can't do that. I can never do what you do. When I started reading, the business does this, the product is that, people said I could do that. And everyone joined my team because I had made it simpler for them. But it taught me something about humility as well, right? So I think it is certainly not for everyone. And network marketing is not for everyone. It is. And
that's again. So just to interject here for a moment. That's again why I think it's so great to have you as part of the Career Clarity Circle, and helping people really identify: is this for me? Is this even like a stepping stone for me or not? Because again, it's really important to have that sort of objective and have that opportunity to think through this as a possibility, and then really make an educated decision whether it is for you or not.
Yes.
And again, it can, as you mentioned, it can serve very well as an interim, and also, I mean, as a way to leverage the financial side while you're still possibly in a job that you want to exit out at some point. And so there's a lot of benefits to pursuing it. But again, if it's not really cut out for who you are, and if you don't feel like it's actually something that you could even temporarily get excited about, then it may also not work for you. I think that's, I mean, I've also seen a lot of people sort of try this product for a while and then just shelve it, try another product for a while and shelve that, and just sort of in a way not be very successful with the network marketing approach.
Yes.
And
that's precisely because there are such low barriers to entry. If they made you pay $100,000 to start, I think people would put in a whole lot more commitment than they generally do, because the barrier is so low.
Yeah.
You don't evoke the same kind of commitment to action. Uh,
Yes.
the thing about network marketing is it looks very different from the outside in than it does from the inside out. And so for many people, they can look at it and say, oh, no, 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 that's not for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like that. It was Andy who brought the network marketing business home. And I was actually nursing our second baby who was 8 weeks old.
Mm-hmm.
And I had just told him, I am ready to stay at home. I'm ready to be a mom. I'm ready to stop trying all this freelance stuff. And he said, we're starting a business. I thought, oh no, oh no, 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 no. It's one of those, I feel like, ugh, it's one of
Yeah.
those. But you know what I found on the other side was a group of people who were all looking for a vehicle to improve their life. And this group of people were, network marketing incentivizes you to support your team because you profit share. So the more you help each other, the better everyone does. And so you end up with this tremendous, unexpected source of positive mastermind energy for free that you don't get that in very many other places. So a lot of people say, oh, you drink the Kool-Aid, but the truth is having that kind of positive support where you can go into a group and say, here's my goal. I don't know if I'm going to reach it, but I have a way to reach it. This is one vehicle. I don't have any vehicle in my life that's better than that. And then to have an entire team and systems and support set up to say, we're going to help you hit that goal. That's something I had never had before. So from the outside in, I thought, oh, they're crazy. Like they're all evangelical about this crazy product. But what I saw was quite the opposite, that it was people who, they saw a better life for themselves. They saw that their job was not secure. They saw that their health was not where they wanted it to be. They saw their income wasn't where they wanted it to be, and they were helping each other.
Yes.
So I think that for you, if it's something that you have a curiosity about, and given that some of these companies only cost, $50 to become a distributor, some of them are very, very inexpensive. It is worth checking out, right? And it's certainly, if you're out there Googling, you will find what you look for. It's confirmation bias. So if you look up and say, is this company a scam? You will find web pages that say, yes, network marketing is a scam. If you look for, does network marketing work for people? You will find web pages about that. Because like anything else, there are some people who thrive and there are some people who utterly fail. And you just want to manage your risk, right? So decide you're not going to fill your garage with thousands of dollars in product. You're going to make a plan to earn back your investment and then make a decision.
Yes. And that's exactly it. It's like, I think the difference of really going into it with open eyes and with an understanding of what it is and how it can help you. And also whether you actually feel like it's the right step for you.
Yes.
So, so I'm all excited about this collaboration. And I'm curious, so from your perspective, what's in it for you in collaborating with me and coming on board with Career Clarity Circle and helping people in this sort of at that final stage of our 3-month program in terms of making decisions whether they they want network marketing as part of their way forward or whether not. And so but I guess I'm also curious, like when when I first shared about that with you, you were quite excited. And so I guess what's your, what draws you in to participate?
Well, there's two things. There's two pieces that I feel like I have to offer you as a collaboration and anyone who's listening. And one of them is a free resource that we created precisely to help answer these questions, right? And it's free, there's no strings attached. But what I found is when I was growing my network marketing business, and quite often I'd have that business discussion with people. In network marketing, you can grow one of two ways. Either you can share your product, and maybe some people will become business builders, or you can share the business opportunity. And then if people don't want to join your business, maybe they'll buy the product. So you can lead with product or you can lead with business. I always led with business because I was interested not in convincing anybody. It's not a business of buy my deal. It's not a business of trying to strong arm anybody or manipulate anybody into buying anything they don't want or don't need. That was the last thing I wanted to get into. But for me, seeing where my family was, how stuck we were, and seeing a way forward, I was looking for those like-minded people. So I'd always begin that conversation saying, are you looking for something? Like, is there something additional in your life that you'd like to try? Would it be worth it to you to check out a way to grow a stable side income so that you've got a backup plan? You know, and if you're interested in that, I'd love to chat. If you're not interested in that, don't worry about it. I'm just sorting who's interested. And in the process of doing that, I came up, I wrote an ebook, and it was called, oh, it's changed names so many times. I think the final name is how to choose a network marketing business. And the idea is you want to ask yourself questions that are not related to the specific company that's telling you to join the business. So if it's, you know, if I pick one, if it's Herbalife, you don't want to follow necessarily a resource that Herbalife has created telling you to join Herbalife, because it feels like there's some bias there. I wanted to create a third-party resource where you could just ask yourself the right questions to know if this is right for you. And so we talk about whether, number one, whether you are willing to invest upfront in this business. Usually it can be anywhere, and usually in the arena of about $500, $100 to $500 to start one of these businesses. Though some of them go higher. My first business, I think it was about $3,000. So it depends on your level of financial risk. So if you have no money, don't start. A second area to ask yourself is whether you truly are willing to put in dedicated time every week to build your business, because otherwise it becomes a very expensive hobby. You know, you need to know that you're going to commit to a certain amount of time per week and a certain length of time. You won't see results in a month. You know, are you willing to give it 3 to 5 years, which is generally what they say in network marketing? Because if you're going to quit at 6 months, then, you know, best not to begin. And then some of it was related to mindset, right? What are the qualities that I have seen and that we see in the industry that really help somebody become successful? And it's not what you'd expect. You don't have to be a great leader. You don't have to be a fantastic public speaker. You do have to have resilience, or be able to cultivate it. You know, if someone says no to you, you have to be able to pick up and move on instead of falling into a puddle and quitting because someone has said no. You know, you do have to have a certain amount of perseverance. You do have to have certain qualities of mindset. I think you have to be teachable. You have to be willing to learn, right? So there are certain mindset qualities in there. And the last 2 pages are just a checklist of what makes a good company, what makes a good product. And so you can check those off and say, hey, is the company I'm looking at, do they fit those criteria? And is it worth it for me to give this a try? So that's a free resource. And, you know, I love spreading the word on that because so many people have told us this really helped me make sense of it. And it tells you, don't start if you didn't say yes here. It gives you a good sense of whether or not it's right for you.
Exactly. And then I still remember you actually giving me this free resource, and that's where you planted the seed to bring you on to the program. And so, yes, exactly. And that's exactly why, again, I think it's valuable for us to have you on board and do, you know, do and it's really going to be a question and answer session where people are going to be able to ask their own questions and get, you know, get your support in finding their answers. But I guess my curiosity still remains in terms of like, what is in it for you in terms of, joining the, you know, that collaboration and coming on board and participating. What do you see?
Of course. Well, you know, I think I love to connect with people about their businesses, because something we haven't talked about much on this call, but the business that Andy and I have grown that has gone international is not just about network marketing. In fact, some of the people involved are network marketers, but we've expanded more broadly into business ownership. And what we do now is we run a network of business networks, if that makes sense to you. So if you have a business and you've got to get out there and spread the word, usually they say, oh, go to a networking event. And a lot of people go to a networking event and they stand in the corner and they don't know who to talk to, or they do the spray and pray, you know, they just like give everyone a business card and hope for the best. And we've created a masterclass to help teach people the fundamentals of business relationships. That's where my heart is now. So we have a network of groups of business owners in 50 cities internationally. And all of these business owners in all kinds of different industries, all kinds of different business models. What we have been doing is just putting the emphasis back on real human relationships, creating business relationships that last, where we support each other, where we give each other business, where we help each other grow, very much in that collaborative way that you see inside network marketing, but now in the bigger business community as a whole. So my personal interest in collaborating with you, my selfish interest, is that those of you who do go on and become business owners, if you want to learn more about business relationships, because that's what makes or breaks you as a business owner. That's the difference between you serving with serving with passion and purpose versus being that slimy salesperson. The relationship makes all the difference. And those of you who want to learn more about that, then I would invite you to come and check out what we're doing. And spreading the word to new business owners means that right when you start your business, you've got the right emphasis, the right systems to grow those business relationships to help fill in that foundation for you.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. So again, that's another angle. And I mean, I didn't even know about that when I contacted.
Right, when you first talked to me. Yeah.
No,
So that's
when I first talked to you, because
yes.
really I already had asked another also excellent business coach that is, that I really admire, to essentially talk about what's involved with starting your own business.
Of course.
And then you said, well, we do that too. You know, so then I thought, wow, even better to have you as part of this program.
Of course.
And
our emphasis is the people side.
Yes. And then, of course, from my, very selfish perspective of bringing you on board is also in building a Career Clarity Circle in a collaborative way, and having, other contributors contribute to the program. I also am excited about the potential of you sharing about Career Clarity Circle with your network, and because there may be people in your network that are sort of wondering, what is it that I truly want to do when I grow up, and what is it that's truly right for me? Maybe I'm financially successful, but maybe it's not feeding me in some other ways. And so leveraging that and being able to share Career Clarity Circle, not just with my circle, but also with the circle of the collaborators is also really appealing to me, because again, it reaches people that I would have never been able to reach on my own. And then, of course, the joy of actually working together on a program, and also the huge value of being able to share other resources with the people that choose to become part of the program, that join the circle. Beyond my own expertise and the all the tools and resources that I've built over the last 15 years, that's tremendous in itself. But as a bonus, they also get your expertise and the expertise of the other collaborators along the way. So it felt very appealing from both those angles. Also, your generosity of spirit and how you just love to spread word and share ideas is something that I just knew I could count on you to share this with your network. And so then again, my next question would really be about what would you say is in it for some people in your network? Like when you think about how could they maybe benefit from actually joining Career Clarity Circle? What do you think from somebody who already is in business, or what's in it for them to actually go through the process of really getting clear on what it is that they truly want to do?
Well, I've had quite a few people say to me, I want to start a business, but I have no idea. I have no idea what. I have no idea. And it's not, they're beginning to wake up to career clarity, knowing that they don't want to do what they're doing currently. And they turn to us because we're a business network, and they come to our networking events and they say, oh, I wish I could do that, but there's this hesitation. There's something in the energy. There's a block. And I think for those people, if you're starting to see glimpses of what excites you, you go out networking and you see, oh, those people look fulfilled. Those people look like they understand the direction they're going. I want that for myself. then Julia, you're definitely the person for them to talk to. And there's so many people in our network who are almost there. They've come as far as they can come by themselves, right? And there is so much to be said for our mentors, for our coaches, for our teachers, and the people who help us get to where we are right now. And if I had created my business by myself, there wouldn't be a business. I'd be back in nonprofit right now. And if it were not for my coaches, if it were not for my mentors, there is no way that I could have had an idea of who I want to be in my business and spread my wings and expand that thing internationally as fast as we have, because we are standing on the shoulders of giants. It is the mentors who have said, here's how you take this idea and monetize it. And it's been the coaches who have said, here is how you reach a number of people and speak to their heart. Because I reached out to the people I know. So I think for people in my network, if you've got that sense that you're stuck or you're frustrated, especially maybe if you're watching this and you haven't voiced that yet, you know, it's in there and it's rising and you haven't whispered it out loud. Because I was like that for a long time. I think we sit at that place for a long time before it bubbles and up enough for us to make a change. And sometimes it is just something on the clock ticks over and you realize, oh, yes, I do need to make that change. I need to begin striving to be more myself. And our business is called Authentic Networker. So we talk about authenticity in business a lot. We're writing a book right now on rules for authenticity in business. And just like those internal and external goals, when you really feel, when you can really be authentic in your work, in your business, means that you've explored what makes you feel whole, right? And you explore what makes you feel in an alignment. And if you're in alignment every day, there's a joy in what you do. And then the money flows from there. So if that's something that you strive for, talk to Julia.
Yeah.
She's fantastic.
Thank you, Mia. I couldn't have said it any better. That's exactly what this is all about. It really is about finding that alignment and finding what's true for you and where you can stand authentically and really build your career in a way that works for you and where you don't have to fit into some model, but actually the model fits you. So turning that around. Yeah. Well, it's been such a joy talking with you this morning, and I so appreciate all your time. And and I'm excited to our collaboration next spring. And so just so for those of you who are listening, this Career Clarity Circle is about to be launched. There's going to be a free intro call in early February. Probably February 7th. And then the actual program starts in March, and it's going to be a 3-month full-on group coaching program. And I can't wait to get this all off the ground. So
I can't wait to see the people who come through it and how many people you help with this. Clarity is a beautiful thing.
Yes, it is indeed. Well, thank you so much again, Mia.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you for your time and for your insightful questions. It's just been a pleasure to talk to you today.
Same here.
Okay, take care.
You take care.